Okay, you're not stuck. Guess what? You're actually out of alignment. And until you recognize that hard truth, you're going to keep feeling frustrated and confused and like nothing's working. A lot of people right now feel that they're stuck in life. They feel like they're doing things, they're trying, they're thinking, they're planning, but nothing is moving. And what happens is you start to question yourself. You start to feel like maybe something's wrong with you, maybe you're not good enough, maybe you're never going to be able to come out of whatever it is that you're in. But the truth is you're not stuck. You can't be both stuck and moving at the same time. What's actually happening is you're moving, but you're moving in the wrong direction. I don't know how many times in my life I've been moving in the wrong direction. Um, Something that is crucial to understand is that sometimes we could be moving, but we're moving in the wrong direction. We're not aligned with what God has for us, or that season of our life is over and we're moving, but we're moving in that, and it's not what is necessary for us today. And so alignment feels different. When you're aligned, there's clarity, there's peace. Even if it's uncomfortable, there's still a sense of conviction. But when you're out of alignment, everything feels heavy. It feels like you're forcing things. You feel drained. You feel like, oh, am I ever going to be over this? Think about a time where you were working at a place and when you started working, everything felt good. You had peace. You were clear. You were okay with where you were at. But when you became out of alignment with it, you started disliking the job, you started complaining, you started feeling like, oh, I don't want to go into work. That time, that season was over. But how many times have we stayed in things like that, stayed in positions like that because we were fearful of what was on the other side of leaving? We were so comfortable with being uncomfortable that we stayed in that state out of fear. A lot of times we stay in misalignment because it just feels familiar. It may not be because of fear. We're just comfortable. It feels safe. Or we've convinced ourselves that this is just what life is. Years ago, people would stay on jobs for like 30 and 40 years because that was life. That's just how it was. You stayed on a job and then you retired after 30, 40 years and you stayed with the same company, and that was just the way it was. So they limited themselves because it was just safe, it was familiar, it was just their way of life at that time. So instead of shifting when we are out of alignment, we keep trying to force something that's not working. And that's where the problem comes in. And if I'm honest, many of you are already know that you're out of alignment. I know that I felt out of alignment before. And how I knew is I felt it, I sensed it. God showed me that I was out of alignment, but I kept delaying the shift. And we all have different reasons why. We talked about some of those in the beginning. So Um, at this point, if God is showing you that you are out of alignment, whatever it is, with your finances, in your position at work, in friendships, whatever it is, you don't need more time. You don't need more information. You need to be honest about what's no longer aligning in your life and have the courage to move accordingly. See, that's the thing that a lot of us lack is the courage. And it's a normal thing. Things are scary when you're changing things. And, it's an interesting story in the Bible where Joshua was getting ready to step into his position that God had aligned him for because Moses had died, but he was in a state of grief and he was crying and he was grieving Moses's death. Now, we don't know why he was grieving it. It might have been because he loved Moses, and I'm sure he did, or it might have been that he was so overwhelmed with the thought of moving into this leadership position. We don't know. But what we do know is that God said something to Joshua. He said, Joshua, my servant Moses is dead. So, he had to make him clear about the reality of the situation. He's dead. And so we need a new leader, and you're it. Tag, you're it, Joshua. And so he had to let him know this is where we're at. He's dead. Moses is no longer. It's time for you to step into your alignment. You've already been prepared. You've already been um, what is the word that I want to use? You've already been positioned to take this leadership role. You've already been in my presence. What we don't know about Joshua, a lot of people, is that when Moses would go in the tabernacle, and we know that the Bible says that Moses saw God face to face. And so when he would go in the tabernacle, Joshua was right there. Joshua was in the tabernacle in the presence of God. He was learning from Moses how to be a leader. He was learning from God how to be in his presence, all those things that he needed to lead the people into the promised land. So he already had what he needed. God just had to show him, make it clear. Moses is dead. No more preparing, no more information that you need. You are already aligned to take that next level, Joshua. Are you ready to do it? Are you going to be courageous? And that's the thing. A lot of us are not, we don't have the courage to move accordingly for whatever reason. And so God told Joshua, be courageous. Be courageous. He said, my Moses is dead, my servant. Now you need to be courageous and move forward, because courage is the step that helps us to move in everything that God has for us. And so if this resonates with you, this is exactly why I wrote my book, Truth Over Chaos, to help you get out of confusion and into clarity. And if you're in a season where things feel off, don't ignore it. Pay attention to it, because it might not be that you're stuck. It might be that you're being called to realign. So God bless you today. I hope that this video has blessed you. If it has, share it with someone else. Until next time, God bless you.